Hi and welcome to Seasparkles Corner. Well, this video is my son's idea. You know my son David, and he's going to do the introduction.
So basically here's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be basically discussing superpowers that will suck to have in real life. Now please note that this is based on individual superpowers, not accompanying superpowers to stabilize said powers. This is individual superpowers such as spontaneous flight is separate from levitation. You cannot have spontaneous flight and the ability to breathe at high altitudes or basically equalize pressure, just spontaneous flight power on its own as one example. Which basically means that these are individual powers that would suck to have them in real life, and the consequences if you did have said superpowers in real life.
And viewers, this is only our opinions. Not based on scientific fact or principle, just our own opinions and our own views. And this means no insult to anybody's favorite superheroes or superpowers that they dream they'd like to have. This is strictly our opinion only, and no offense to anybody intended. And no offense to anybody in real life, fact or fiction. That's a disclaimer.
Which wasn't really needed, because it was just basically just a conversation video.
Yeah.
For fun. Okay, I'm going with the first power I'm picking off the list is Arm Fall Off Lad from the comic books, who has the superpower to have his arms spontaneously fall off.
Gross.
And given how easy it is to lose your cell phone, your glasses, having the ability to have your arms fall off, you would lose them in real life.
The word is stupid comes to mind.
Yep. That's my first power that I'm picking that would suck to have in real life.
Okay, my first power of opinion would be Technoman, which is one of my favorite shows, but what I don't like about it is...
It can only be one power that he has that would suck to have in real life.
Well, is that it somehow shortens your life. And the more you use it, the shorter your life is, and that you would only live like 6 months. They gave him 6 months in the show, and he was one of my favorite characters. But his favorite, in my opinion, was that they designed it well for you to create stabbing weapons, but at least with the armor, at least, hey, you got a shot at not being killed.
You do realize you're going with an entire character to be in real life that would suck, but the thing is that it's an individual power, which I don't know man has an entire
I don't know which power shortens his life, but that's the one I wouldn't want.
It would be the armor convergence then. So
okay.
That is a sensible one. That would be the one that would shorten his life, because the rest of it's all accompanying weapons.
Okay, then that's the one I wouldn't like because it shortens your life. Although he didn't mind.
Okay, the next one I'm going with is ironically the power of fire. And the primary reason why is fire. The power of fire. Well, guess what? Fire uses oxygen, and you need oxygen to breathe. So that means if you were the human torch and you flame on with fire, the fire would then use the air, causing you to suffocate in real life. Plus, your blood would boil.
Not to mention the fact that it would hurt like heck.
Oh, big time.
The pain involved.
Oh yeah, that is part.
That's the worst thing. Your pain.
Yeah, that is my opinion. A power that would suck to have in real life is fire, because on account of that, fire uses air, and when you flame on, if you're the human torch, your blood would boil, your skin would wilt. It would basically kill you in an instant.
Yeah, I mean, how many of us can say we haven't like burned a finger or something like that, just accidentally spilling your hot chocolate or hot tea or hot coffee on you, whatever hot drink on you, and that hurt like heck. Just that little burn of a finger when you accidentally wasn't paying good enough.
Yep.
And you spilled it. Imagine all over your whole body. Like, oh, that's horrible.
Yeah. So if it wasn't for the sheer list of powers that Human Torch would have to have just to stabilize that, that is a power that would actually suck to have in real life. It's fire.
Okay.
What's your next power that would suck to have in real life?
Well, I'd like to say a power that would really be good to have. And that's mutant healing abilities. I'd like that.
Actually, that power would be good on the surface, but here's the major irony.
Well, look how long Wolverine's lived.
Exactly. Imagine outliving your children, your friends.
No, I have to make sure you got it too somehow. So I wouldn't lose.
Yeah, but this is supposed to be a list of powers that would suck to have in real life. So that's a good power to have.
That's a good power to have.
We'll do another video with good powers to have. So you got to pick one that would suck to have in real life.
One that would stink to have in real life. ultraviolets that makes you so sick.
No, it would be hemophagia, which is simply a disease.
Hemophage, yeah. That's really sad.
Okay, you've gone with a disease for another one of those subjects for life. Okay.
That is a power.
Okay. And
And that has a bad side effect.
all right. The next one I'm going with that would suck to have in real life, and this is actually going to be kind of ironic, given that it's everybody's dream, is the power of flight.
You really couldn't breathe up there.
The major irony is that as you increase your altitude, the air, gravity would pull you down more, and the air would get thinner, resulting in the difference in pressure. So you have to wear a pressure suit. You have to have oxygen and some sort of navigation as well. So basically, you just turn yourself into an airplane.
Yeah, in reality, people have oxygens provide air so you can breathe. In reality, people could fly like Superman, Thor, and all those other people who fly, and Rogue. They couldn't breathe up there.
Also, having the power of flight means that you technically can't levitate because flight is propulsion. So therefore, when Superman was like flying and standing upright, like he was levitating, you would not be able to do that because of the principles of flight. So yeah, so you don't get the entire set of everything you want with flight. Okay, what's another power that you think would suck to have in real life?
Cyclops, where he can have to wear sunglasses all the time, or he has to have his eyes closed, because if you don't, lasers shoot out of your eyes, and that's kind of terrible because you can't look up at a beautiful moon or sky or anything. In reality, he couldn't see at all.
Plus, Cyclops' optic blast, technically the heat from the beam coming out of his eyes would actually destroy his eyes and the general area around them, so yeah.
And would fry your brain cells.
Yeah, so technically Cyclops' optic blast is a good one, because on account in real life, the principles of heat and lasers would technically destroy your eyes, and they're around about the area of the skull for your eyes.
And we all know how sensitive eyes are.
Yep. You ain't even got laser surgery right yet.
Nope. Not to mention the heat from it would have to come from somewhere. It would have to be up in his brain, and it would fry your brain. If your brain don't work, you're dead. You'd be brain dead, so it wouldn't work anyway. But it would be an awful horrible thing to live with.
I think so far still Human Torch is the power of fire is still the worst one.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Okay, the next one I'm going with for power that would suck is ironically going to be ironic. It's going to be teleportation. You want to know why? Stop and think about this for a minute. For you to teleport, you would have to technically copy yourself, and then your original would then have to be destroyed. So technically would be actually cloning yourself over and over again.
And then you'd have the problem with replicated failure.
Yeah. So actually teleportation is pretty bad, because each time your copy would actually be more inferior than the last one. So eventually you would actually destroy yourself on account that the human is very complicated. Plus, if you're cloning yourself, you also got to copy the information in your brain, so you actually might even have knowledge loss in the long run. Yep. You'd be technically killing yourself and copying yourself over and over and over again.
Yep.
Okay, what's your next one that will suck to have in real life?
Vampirism, where you're constantly sick all the time. To live, the vampires live. They don't live forever. They said they live a very long time, but for some reason, they use the disease called leukemia and create it to the advance, and you have to go and constantly drink on blood. They said on more than one movie you could live on rats or mice. You could go to a store and just buy a bottle of blood, but the idea is reality from what they lead you to believe is that you never feel healthy. You can't enjoy yourself because you're always sick all the time. And so that's what's really sad. Imagine living your day after day, week after week, month after month, feeling ill the whole time, and knowing there's no way, known science to heal you. So that's really sad. They supposedly have all these special abilities as a result of it, but the reality of it is they're ill all the time.
Well, technically from that set, you could technically say the power that actually would suffer worst from that would be actually turning into a bat, given that when you shrink down, you're going to a smaller brain, so you'd actually be dumping large portion of what you know, and then only getting to maintain the information that a bat can contain when you turn back. So actually, from the power side of a vampire, would be turning into the bat would be the worst one, in my opinion, to have, considering hypnotic vision. That's actually not a bad power to have.
No, that's a cool vision.
That'd be a cool power to have. But
And that wouldn't hurt you.
individually, though, from a vampire, technically, you'd have to say would be the one to turn into a bat. Considering you're going from this size brain to a bat-sized brain, so you're going from what a human can store worth of knowledge to a bat can store worth of knowledge. So how much knowledge would you turning back into the human, you would technically lose each time you did it?
Well, you don't know. They always say humans only use 3% of our brain capacity.
We actually use the whole thing. That's been disproven already. So scientifically speaking, that would be the worst one to have that a vampire has, would be turning into a bat, then back again.
The plus side is you live for a very long time. That's the plus side.
Well, individual powers. So that is the individual power that a vampire has, is turning into a bat and back again. So
I think it would be fun to fly, though.
yeah, it may be fun to fly, but the thing is that you're going from this brain to a bat brain and then back again. So if I was a vampire and I turned into a bat, how much knowledge would I lose when I turn back?
Yeah. Well, their bats are, the brains is the size of a pea.
Yeah, that's the thing, you know. So that is
About
actually
the size of a brain of a bat.
that is, in my opinion, the worst power to have, because if you turn into that bat, what if part of that knowledge you lose is the ability to turn back?
Oh boy, you'd be stuck.
You see my point?
Except in the movies, they always seem to know what they're doing.
That
They don't lose
is, in my
knowledge.
opinion, the worst power.
Yeah.
Vampires, as you're going with vampirism. That is the individual worst power to have.
Yep.
You can even have the disadvantage of being destroyed by the sun and still lead a normal life just by being up at night.
Yeah.
So that's still better than the bat one. Even.
Yeah.
A weakness is better than the bat one. That is sad.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going for the next one. This is going to be ironic, is that being able to turn into another element and then back again, such as Colossus turning into metal and then back again.
He did that all the time.
But here's the thing, though. If you turn into metal, then that means your skin, your blood, your lungs, everything is being turned into that element of metal. And no offense, when you're turning back,
We don't know that.
when you're turning back, given how sensitive the human body is to metal, there's this thing called mercury poisoning.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, Colossus' ability to turn into metal would either turn him into a solid statue, or when he's turning back, because you can't do the whole body at once to be turned into metal, you would then ironically have mercury poisoning because of being turning into metal and back again. So that's pretty awful.
I guess so. I mean, I always thought Colossus was cool.
Yeah, but that one power though that he's got to turn into metal and back again is actually pretty horrible when you think about it, considering how easy the human body gets lead poisoning, mercury poisoning. You can inhale stuff, causing you to poison your own body, and Colossus turning into metal and then back again. And 10 to 1, it ain't just the outside of him that turns into metal. Either he'll end up becoming a statue, like say Bobby turning into ice, and that's all the way through. Considering he's see-through, he would actually become an ice sculpture.
Yeah.
Colossus turning to metal and back again. Granted, he can still move, and
Bobby could melt.
Yeah, Bobby can melt, exactly. And Colossus turning into metal, it'd actually be a statue too, because metal ain't flexible.
Well, he better not.
And if he turns back again, then he'd end up with mercury poisoning because of metal.
Poor Bobby, if he ever turned to ice when it was 110 degrees, he'd melt really fast.
In my opinion, changing.
Look how fast ice melts in our cups.
Just before I started the video.
Yeah.
So, turning into another element and back again, that's a power that would suck to have. You'd actually turn into a sculpture or have some sort of blood disease when you turn back.
Yep.
Okay, got another one?
Yeah. An Ant-Man turned into an ant, all I would do is have to step on him. Every time I saw that show, there's nothing wrong with the Ant-Man fans, that's pretty cool. But in reality, if you're fighting somebody and
Shrinking
you're an ant,
power? You mean?
yeah. And
Basically,
you
you're talking about shrinking
You could just
power.
step on them and squish them, and they'd be dead.
Yep. shrinking power is basically the power. You're saying that's part that would suck.
Yeah, somebody step on you. That's what I always thought. Every time I see somebody who can shrink down like that.
Plus, plus another thing is the human body is actually balanced for this size and this size of gravity. When you're actually shrinking down, you're actually shrinking the size of your hearts and your lungs and whatnot along with it.
Entire body.
Your entire, exactly. So if anything,
including a skeletal structure.
so if anything, when you're shrinking down, you would actually be destabilizing that balance.
And in reality, human beings that are smaller than 3 pounds, they, which is sad, don't usually live very long. That's why we call premature births. In reality, you know,
It's shrinking. It's
in
shrinking.
reality, all somebody would do is have to step on them or
In reality, when you shrink down, if you shrink down as small as an ant with a human body,
I'd just step on them
Yeah.
if I was an enemy of his. I'd
Actually,
step on them.
I hate to say it, when you shrink down to that size, and because everything is smaller and the air molecules would react differently to the human body, I honestly think that once you shrink down that small, you'd actually probably die. You'd actually end up killing yourself.
Yeah.
You go down that small.
Yep.
Just by shrinking.
I mean, who'd want to be the size of an ant anyway? Everything's so much bigger in the world. The world would be a very scary
Yep.
place.
Yep. Alright. Another power that actually sucked to have in real life would be, ironically, I'd have to say, a pure irony here would actually be super strength. If you stop to think about how much human body does involuntarily, how bad super strength would be to have.
Well,
You might accidentally.
there's a lot of people that are very strong.
Yeah, but see, what I'm talking about is super strength, like from the comics, like Superman's ability to punch stuff off the surface all the way up into the sky. I'm talking about above humans' normal super strength. Even normal people, which are abnormally strong, even accidentally has hurt people that they care about, just because they are so strong. So super strength.
And they have injured themselves.
Yeah, super strength is actually, as a power, would really suck to have because so much of what we do is involuntarily. Plus, super strength in the comics is every muscle in your body being abnormally strong.
Yep.
So you would actually, with super strength, like in the comics, having that in real life would actually be very horrible because you would accidentally break stuff, kill your loved ones because you are so absurdly strong.
You wouldn't mean to, though.
You wouldn't mean to, but because you are that absurdly strong, it would do it.
A lot of people say, I don't know my own strength. You've heard regular people say that when they've accidentally tapped somebody on the back and almost knocked them over. They say, hey, sorry, I don't know my own strength. I've seen that happen in real life. Where they say, hey, buddy, how you doing? You know, guys, you know how guys pat each other on the back? I've actually seen them do it without meaning to.
And then you stop.
And they say, hey, it's cool, man.
Then you stop to think that to the caliber of super strength, like from the comics. Backbone's broken, or when you're making love for your loved ones, you accidentally rip off their heads, maybe. I mean, a lot of what we do has involuntarily strength behind it.
Yep.
So yeah, super strength is another power that would actually suck.
Except sometimes we wish when we had to like move furniture around, we wish we were stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah, for just that moment in time. Now, if we could control it, we had the ability to control when we would utilize it, like tap it as a resource, like we tap memories. Wouldn't be bad.
I think we're running out of powers that will suck to have in real life.
No, there's plenty more.
Okay, well, you picking up? Okay, your turn.
Super hearing.
Oh yeah, that one would. That one would absolutely suck because you'd be able to hear.
Overhear stuff you don't want to hear.
Yeah. Then you stop and
It'd
think.
be invasion of other people's privacy when they're having a private conversation.
Think of having that power in New York
Oh gosh.
with all the sirens and being a central
You'd have a
park.
constantly headache. You'd have a headache all the time.
Yeah.
You would never have peace. You could never have peace. And that would be a really awful superpower to have. You know, because you would never have peace or quiet time. You'd always have headaches all the time and be suffering. You'd want to find a way to shut it off, and you would have to wear silencers over your ears. But that wouldn't stop it. If the ability for super hearing is internal, no matter what you do to block it out, you couldn't block it out. It'd be awful. Your turn.
All right.
I can't even think of an upside to that.
Nope. Okay, so well, super speed would definitely have to be in that list of powers that will suck out in real life, considering
Oh, you'd have to eat a lot.
not just that, is that
That
if
would
you
have
ran,
to be hyper-metabolic.
if you actually ran as fast as any super speed character would in the
Burn your
comics,
shoes off your feet.
no, worse, air is matter, and the faster you go, the thicker it gets. You would actually probably explode just from the air pressure, and then starting from a standstill to that speed, the shock to your body would probably kill you in an instant. Stopping too in an instant would also kill you, because as I say, it's not so much as the falling that kills you, it's the stop at the end. So yeah, super speed is power that would suck that in real life, because that would actually kill you instantly. Be it from the acceleration, the mass of the air, or the stopping. All around, that is a power that is catastrophically not good for you.
Yep.
Your turn.
Like Aquaman, the ability to breathe underwater.
Well, your body can only be designed to breathe air or water. So if you had Aquaman's ability to breathe underwater, well, guess what? You couldn't breathe in. That's right.
Because he would have to have, like fish, have a water sac. But then fish can't breathe on land. Whales are mammals, but they still have to go underwater.
Even if you had gills like a shark and able him to breathe air, the thing is that then in the water you couldn't really stop anywhere because he'd drown. You could only go swim only one way on top of that. So there's no way to actually breathe effectively underwater and on land.
Oh, it makes you wonder how it could, because whales are mammals.
Yeah, but
they squirt the water out these little holes out of their head, and they breathe air and they water, but they can drown underwater if they're underwater too long.
Yep.
And and sharks and stuff like that, and then you see alligators that breathe underwater.
But
then
alligators always stick
warm
up
on land. They're mainly on land.
Yep, that's because they technically are for water. The thing is, they'll stick up at the surface.
I don't think
breathing from the nose.
I don't see how organically human beings could breathe underwater and on land both, and to be able to be like Aquaman. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, even if a person had gill implants.
Yeah.
They've never been successfully able to do that. I don't think anybody's even wanted them. But I should think it would stink.
Well, I think we did all of really the best ones I would suck to have in real life. Unless you got another one that you'd like to mention.
Telepathic abilities.
Mass invasion of privacy, that one. Plus, when you sleep, you don't control yourself when you sleep, so you'd actually be automatically hearing other people's thoughts. So yeah.
Would that be a good thing?
Not really.
You would make a lot of enemies. People don't like people that have telepathic abilities. Really like ones. I mean, on Babylon 5, they control the telepaths. They live horrible lives.
Yeah, but telepathy would be a bad one because there's no actual way to not. There would be actually no way to actually stop it.
Control yourself.
Control it, you'd actually be hearing other people's thoughts. So yeah,
it would be really annoying.
Power, yeah.
Because you wouldn't want to hear it and control other people's thoughts.
Being the avenues of that power would be horrific.
I mean, you think about it, that'd be a massive, horrible thing because you said you don't want to hear other people's thoughts, and there's no way human beings can control their thoughts that good yet.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Plus, being in the avenues, being a telepath would suck. So there are only people there all the time.
Or how about being in one of the theme parks during rush hour? Oh boy, that'd be awful.
Well, it's mostly year round now, so they've gone to type of big budget drag attractions.
Yeah. I mean, you'd be constantly, oh, it'd be a nightmare to live. I know I wouldn't want to be one.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to invade other people's thoughts even accidentally. And I wouldn't want other people's thoughts. There'd be, if you're a telepath, everybody around you, their thoughts would just flood in your head. It'd be a jumble. You'd be constantly like nightmarish life. You'd have to, even if you tried to isolate yourself in a room, soundproof, I don't know if that would stop it.
Depends on the range that you'd have for receiving.
But what a way to live.
Yep.
The only way you can have peace is alone.
Yep.
It's awful.
Yep.
I mean, I call that a major power.
Yeah, major part of that would suck, yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully next time I'd say we've done enough for now.
Okay, because there's lots more superpowers.
That would
we
suck
haven't
to have in
discussed.
real life, yeah. That would suck to have in real
Tons of
life,
them.
yeah. Well, the primary thing is that I figured we could do this to actually have an interesting conversation that you would enjoy seeing and maybe chiming in your thoughts as well.
What power would you think would be horrible?
Yeah, what power do you think that would suck to have in real life and put in the comments
And
below?
we haven't even hit the power to transform into other forms of animals or anything.
Yeah.
There's still lots more powers.
Well,
we
we
talk
actually
about.
touched on that when you mentioned when you brought up vampirism, turning to a bat and back to normal. So, whatever powers that you think would suck to have in real life and reasons that we might have
The
touched on.
ultimate one
or
I
more.
think would stink the most would be rogues.
Well,
She's forever isolated. She can't touch another
in
man.
general, right in that, they even said that's power that's horrible to have in real life because you can't touch anybody else.
And when you touch them, you could kill them.
Yep.
No human, live your whole life with no human contact.
No, the great
No
problem
hugs.
is that's a bad power to have in both the comics and in real life on account that is a horrible power flat out, so that's not actually would be even to discussing or that's already known, it's already given. So
Yeah, but we haven't forgotten that horrible ability.
yeah, so put in the description below what powers that looks good in the comics or movies that you've seen that you think that would suck to have in real life, and then we'll read about it. And then also bring up any other points powers that we've already discussed that you think of other reasons for suck to have in real life, and then maybe we'll do a sequel, maybe not, but later on we'll try to figure out. We'll do another one and call it powers that would actually be good to have in real life, which will probably be a very short